Hi guys, I'm Mariah and welcome to Roby and Amelia's adventure. I just laid the kids down to sleep and decided that it was time to film a long overdue video. This morning when I got up, I got on Facebook like I always do and looked at my on this day, and it reminded me of when I was 16 weeks pregnant, and it brought mixed emotions. It brought the memory of being pregnant with my wonderful twins, and it also brought some sadness along with it. When I was 16 weeks pregnant, I got a phone call from my doctor that said, "Hey, we're looking at your ultrasound and we think there is a cyst on the back of your baby's neck. So we are going to send you to OSU Hospital to have a more in-depth ultrasound done so we can figure out what's going on." So my husband took off work that a year ago today. My parents drove the 2.5 hours up here. My in-laws went with us, and my husband and I went into the ultrasound thinking that everything was going to be okay. They were going to say, "Oh, the measurements were just wrong. Your baby boy is going to be fine." In that ultrasound, they found that one of Roby's lungs was collapsed, and around that lung it was filled with fluid. One of his kidneys was slightly enlarged. He had a 2-vessel umbilical cord, and his nuchal skin fold was larger than what was normal. After telling us all of this, they said all of these indicators might not mean anything if they were by themselves, but since there are multiple things that are of concern, there's a possibility that when your son is born, he will have Down syndrome. My husband and I just kind of looked at each other and we were like, how could this be? We waited so long to have kids, and now we're getting blessed with 2 wonderful babies. How is there going to be something wrong with our son? The doctor left the room and gave us a minute to kind of comprehend what was just told to us, and she came back in a couple minutes later with about 5 other doctors, and they kind of sat down with us and told us everything that can be brought up with these problems, and that we are going to be coming in for monthly ultrasounds to keep an eye on baby A, who was Roby, to make sure that he was growing and that things didn't get worse. They also told us, don't worry, there's time for you to end the pregnancy still. My husband and I, our mouths just hit the floor. Why would we terminate our pregnancy with 2 beautiful babies just because of the possibility of something being wrong with one of our babies? There was a lot to take in. There was a lot of sadness, a lot of anger, a lot of just worrying about the unknown. We prayed the entire pregnancy that our son would be born perfect and that there would be nothing wrong with him. And you know what? God answered that prayer. He gave us a wonderful baby, and all of those fears and emotions that we had, they're not all gone. We still have good days, we have bad days when we get phone calls from the doctors and say, hey, oh, by the way, heart surgery is going to get delayed probably because we just found out that your son has a thyroid problem and now we need to go see this doctor, we need to see this specialist. So a lot of those feelings are still there. But I'll tell you what, as you can see in some of the videos, we did get our perfect son. He brings so much joy to our life, to our family, to our friends, and he is perfect. If you just found out that there's a possibility that your baby might have Down syndrome, and the doctor's telling you, you know, everything's going to be delayed. They won't do this. They won't do this. They can't do that. This is going to be very slow. Just think to yourself, you're going to get to have a little infant for that much longer. You're going to get to enjoy things that typical families, it just goes by so fast. But you're going to get to have a child that, yes, there's going to be difficulties and you're going to have to work a lot. But when your baby reaches those milestones that the doctor said they can't do, it's going to be so much better and so much more memorable than any other child. I don't want to take anything away from Amelia. Everything with her is amazing. She said mama today. She said daddy. Like, those are incredible things. But I can't wait to experience those things with Roby. I just want to give hope out there to anybody that either just found out that their baby has Down syndrome, either prenatally or postnatally. You're in for a crazy ride. It's going to be incredible. You're going to find out so many new things, meet new friends. This whole community is just going to come out of the woodwork and just support, like, welcome you with open arms like none other. The first time that I went to a function for Down syndrome, it was the Buddy Walk here where we live, and it was just amazing. Like, we were still so confused and still trying to accept everything that we had just found out. We went to the Buddy Walk when our twins were 4 months old, when they were 4 weeks old. And we just kind of took it all in, seeing people of all ages, not just people with Down syndrome, but their family, their friends, all coming together to support them. It's just, I just want to spread hope and love and support if you just found out that you're going to have a child that has Down syndrome, or just had a baby and found out that they have Down syndrome. No, you're not alone. I remember feeling so alone, like there was no one else in the world that was going through what I was going through. And then I met a twin mom that had one of their twins that had Down syndrome, and it felt so good knowing that I wasn't the only person in the world experiencing what I was experiencing. And since then, I've met several parents of twins that, with one baby rocking that extra chromosome, through Facebook and through Instagram, and just getting to watch their journey with their children just gives so much joy and excitement for me and for my husband, for when our kids are older, to get to experience everything. It's gonna be okay. There's going to be times where life just seems to be not going your way, where it's just one thing after the other. But it'll get better. We're waiting for it to get better. You're gonna have a lot of doctor's appointments. You are going to learn how to navigate your hospital like it's the back of your hand, like it's your own home. You could go to the specialist office with your eyes closed. I don't suggest doing that, but you could. Know that your child is going to do great things. They will grow up. Just 30, 40 years ago, the life expectancy of our children it wasn't that good. Now they are growing up to be elderly people that, are retiring from jobs. They're living on their own. They're getting married. I'm so excited for what the future has in store. Yes, I know my kids are only 7 months old, but I cannot wait to experience life as a mom and as a special needs mom. 1 year since we learned that there was a possibility of having a baby that has Down syndrome, and what a whirlwind of a year it has been. We went from being in denial to saying, no, the doctors are wrong, there can't be anything wrong with our son, to they were right. Now what? What do? We don't know anything about being parents. We don't know anything about being parents to twins. We don't know anything about being a parent to a special needs child. But guess what? We figured it out. And you will too. I didn't want to cry through the whole thing. I'm sorry. I'll never forget when we were in the hospital and they told us, we have reason to believe that your son has Down syndrome. They ran a blood test and it came back positive that yes, he has trisomy 21. And doctors told us all the negative things that come with the diagnosis. And I remember feeling so helpless and sad and angry. I didn't know what to do, what our life had in store for us. I remember going down to NICU almost 12 hours after he was born and getting to hold him and cuddle him. And in that moment I knew it didn't matter. I didn't care about the hard things that were gonna come. All I cared was that he was my son, and he was healthy, and he was gonna be okay. There was one doctor in the NICU that came up, and he knelt down next to us. He put his hand, on our shoulders, and he said, "Your son is beautiful. He's gonna do amazing things." And that was the first doctor that told us that it was going to be okay and our son was going to be amazing. He didn't say anything negative. And that was what we needed to hear. That's how doctors need to deliver the news. They need to say, yes, this is the diagnosis, but he or she is going to amaze you every single day with what they can do. And I'll never forget that doctor. Yes, I forgot his name, but I'll never forget the kindness that he had towards our family. But yeah, this was one crazy video. I'm sorry that I cried through the whole thing. I promise the next video I will try and save my tears for my pillow. But I want everyone to come along with our journey, our adventure, and watch Roby and Amelia grow up with us, and we'll try and document as good as we can and share it with you guys so you can experience everything right along with us. But we will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.